What is up, guys? My name is Quincy Carrier, and this is QnA, the show where I take your questions from YouTube and Twitter and answer them here on the show. And if you would like to ask a question on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ding the notification bell so you can be notified when I put the question prompt in the community post. So you can ask the questions there. And also follow me on Twitter at Quincy, where I also post another prompt for people to ask questions. But that being said, let's jump into the questions. I'm going to start with Kevin Durant's burner account on Twitter, who says, what kind of year does Baltimore have with a easier schedule, better coaching? Do you think the Browns can compete for division this year or just a wild card spot? I think the Baltimore Ravens are rightfully the favorites for the division next year. I don't think they're so overwhelmingly the division favorites that the Browns could not take it. I think it's very possible, but I will say, with how tough this division is looking like it's going to be, it looks like it's probably going to be more realistic for the Browns to shoot for a wild card spot because, one, there's going to be an extra wild card spot, and two, there just are more wild card spots than there are division championship spots. So naturally, the Browns are going to more likely probably be getting the wild card. But I don't think the Ravens are this unsinkable ship. I think they can easily, have a step back 10-6, 11-5 year, and the Browns could take over and maybe go 11-5 and take the division. But, we'll see what happens there. I think they have a good shot to win the division. I don't want to sound negative, but I just think it's more likely they take the wild card. The next question comes from Billy Moss, who says, do you think the XFL can recover from this break? They lost a few stars, and I feel like this is going to kill them with their ratings or boost them when they finally come back. Now, as far as the business and the money part goes, the XFL is going to be fine. They have money allocated for year 1, 2, and 3, though that money's already there. And honestly, with the shutdown happening halfway through the season, they probably made more money or saved some money that they wouldn't have if they played the season because they were operating at no doubt at a loss. So suspending operations is probably something that benefited them for next year. They're going to have more money to throw next year at the advertising and all that. So they're going to be fine financially. Now, you mentioned some stars going, and that's an interesting point because, sure, you lose the continuity and having stars, even though you're going to keep some guys like Cardell and Landry Jones who aren't going to really be NFL options, but, they're big names that you can keep back there. But I think the league's going to be about those young guys that are going to churn through, the 22 to 23-year-olds freshly got cut off a roster. They're going to show and prove themselves and get another shot in the NFL. And a guy like P.J. Walker, say P.J. Walker gets on the NFL team. Well, he is on the NFL team. Say P.J. Walker starts for the Carolina Panthers and has a Gardner Minshew-like run. That's going to be huge for the XFL because people are going to see P.J. Walker, hear XFL, because that's going to be the story. Everybody's going to run with that. And then, when the XFL comes around, they'll remember P.J. Walker, some good players came from that league. Let me check it out. It might be some good football. So, I think the XFL is actually in a good spot relative to a first-year league having their season cut short. This is a completely different deal than the AAF. So, I think the XFL is going to be fine. Next question comes from Tay, the creator, who says, what does it mean for David Njoku with the signing of Austin Hooper? Now, this is an interesting one, right? Because there's two camps. There's a camp that thinks that Austin Hooper and David Njoku were meant to play with each other. And there's a camp that thinks that Austin Hooper is going to be here and David Njoku's immediately going to get traded. Now, I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't think that they're meant to play together, but I don't think he's going to immediately get traded. I honestly think there's no guarantees for David Njoku. I don't think this move with Austin Hooper was made with any thought given to David Njoku because, honestly, David Njoku in a twin tight end offense has some flaws he needs to improve. He's not the greatest blocker, and he's not the most consistent catcher of the football. Two things you just can't be in a twin tight end system. And a guy can easily see a guy like Steven Carlson or even Ricky Seals-Jones being more consistent in that second tight end role because they're not looking for a superstar at that second tight end role. They're looking for a consistent blocker and a consistent catcher. And if David Njoku can't be that, then he might not have a future on this team. He could get traded in training camp if it doesn't look like that's going to pan out. So I think it's an interesting thing to watch there. I don't think his future is guaranteed with the Browns, and I don't think it's guaranteed that he's going to have a bigger role than he did last year with the Browns simply because he's not a great fit for this offense. You know, he's a great fit to be what Austin Hooper signed to be, but Austin Hooper is signed to be that. David Njoku is fighting for a spot on the roster right now, in my opinion. Next question comes from Stuart Anderson, who says, hey, Quincy, hope you're staying safe and healthy in these crazy days. I am. You say safe too. Anyways, my question is, which rookie from last year do you feel like it's most boys have a breakout season? It's easy. Mack Wilson. I think Mack Wilson's going to have a breakout season. I think he's going to show everybody why the team was so willing to let go of both Kirksey and Schobert, which I predicted. Not even going to pat myself on the back, though, right? But he's going to show them why he is more than capable of taking that spot. I think he's a very athletic, very instinctual linebacker, and I think he's going to be a real difference maker at that position in a way that Christian Kirksey and Joe Schobert just weren't. So I'm excited for his year too. The next question comes from Deckard, who says, if Baker has poor performances in 3 or 4 consecutive games, should Case Keenum get the starting job or stick with Baker until he figures it out? You should probably give Baker Mayfield more than 3 or 4 games. It's a pretty short hook to have on a guy who was a former number 1 overall pick and a dude who once led the league, and a dude who broke the rookie touchdown record. You know, I think 8 to 10 games is probably the least you give on him, and it has to be a disastrous run in between those 8 to 10 games. I don't think Baker gets 3 to 4. I think he gets 8 to 10. I think Case Keenum comes in a last case scenario / if Baker, knock on wood, gets injured, we have a solution in mind. That's my opinion on the whole thing. The next question from Ivo B, who says, with Big Ben, A.J. Green, Jonah Williams, Myles Garrett returning, and A.J. Green in the free agency, and all the free agency signings in the AFC North, and Joe Burrow almost certainly going to the Bengals, would you say the AFC North is the strongest division in the NFL? If the Bengals are who they project to be, and the Browns are who they project to be, and the Steelers get a healthy Ben back who's not completely done and fried, yeah, I could easily see it. Now, could all 3 of those teams stink and the Ravens run away with this division again? That's certainly possible too. But it has the potential to be one of the best divisions on earth. I mean, this has the potential to have a division where 3 of the 4 teams make the playoffs, especially with the expanded playoffs that they're going to have this year. It's very possible. But it's also very possible that they all implode like they did last year. So fingers crossed there, but it looks to be a tough division with all 4 teams looking to be competitive. But we know how off-season hype doesn't always translate into in-season tape. So the next question comes from Stomping Peak, who says, are you confident in our defense? I'm really worried about our defense. They will not be able to stop the run or his own run scheme and won't be able to keep up in a shootout. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about the defense. They got pushed around a lot on the run. I mean, just look at that San Francisco game. It was embarrassing, and Myles Garrett played in that. They got bullied around. They need to find a inside presence. Larry Ogunjobi is not a 3-down defensive tackle. We have tried this experience for 2 years, and we have gotten beat on the inside left for 2 years in a row. Andrew Billings hopefully takes up that spot. I hope they get a better and bigger upgrade than Andrew Billings, even though, I'm fine with it there, but I don't think he's going to save the defense. The defensive line is the biggest problem, and, I'm just saying, it's John Dorsey's fault. And I'm not saying that John Dorsey made one decision. Look at everybody who's good on the defensive and offensive line. John Dorsey had nothing to do with it. Myles Garrett, he didn't draft him. Joe Bitonio didn't re-sign him, didn't draft him. Ray Farmer drafted him. Sachi Brown re-signed him. J.C. Treader, that's a Sachi Brown signing. The horrible situation at right guard is all Dorsey's fault when he traded away for Kevin Zeitler, for Olivier Vernon, who was a disaster on the other side of Myles Garrett this year, certainly not worth $15 million. The right tackle spot has been a mess because Chris Hubbard, and the Browns have fixed that after John Dorsey with Jack Conklin. And left tackle has been a mess since Joe Thomas has retired. These are things that he was meant to fix. John Dorsey, he never fixed. He's great at finding linebackers and skill players and DBs and hopefully quarterbacks, it turns out, and running backs, certainly, yes. But in those interior line positions, he's been terrible at it, and He's really not done the Browns any favor in rebuilding in those ways. And I think we've done a good amount to rebuild on the offensive line. I still think we could do more, but I think the biggest effort now should go to rebuilding the interior of that defensive line and getting a real difference maker on the defensive line, because they have needed it for 2 years now. Next question comes from Crack King Kraken. Okay. And they say, hey, Quincy, any chance the Browns sign Clay Matthews to a 1-year deal? Hope they drafted him out of college, but it never happened. So if they sign him, one, he's pass rushing help. And honestly, I would like that. I would like a veteran pass rusher to be on this defensive line to help stop the run and also help get to the quarterback. I think he would be a nice pairing opposite of Myles Garrett. And also, hey, you throw a bone to your older fans, and those are the fans you really need to throw a bone to, because they ain't been thrown that many bones. So, you give them Clay Matthews Jr., they'd be happy. They can buy the jersey. They can get re-energized, because they do need to be re-energized. I think that'd be something that can help them out a little bit. It's not going to change the world, but, it'd be a fun thing for them. So why not get Clay Matthews Jr.? The next question is from Maggie. Maggie, he says, Quincy, from another Maple alum, shout out. I got a 2-part question. I'm getting dicey there. All right, so 1, what is the market for Jadeveon Clowney? It looks like the Seattle Seahawks are his market right now, because I don't think the Browns are going to spend money on him, and I don't think any other team with free agency spending power is going to spend money on him either. And 2, with Darth Brady gone, should Coach Palpatine tank the season to get Trevor Lawrence? No. Bill Belichick ain't going to be coaching long enough to tank and then receive the benefits of tanking. And Bill Belichick is not about losing games. Like, even when he lost Brady, he went like 10-6 with Matt Castle. So, I just don't see that happening at all. But that's it for all of the questions this week. Thank you guys for asking these questions. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode of Q&A down in the comment section down below. But again, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Have a good night, and be safe.